Hey there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back. I'm your host, Patsun, and today we're gonna be taking a look at r/relationship advice, where OP's wife had the audacity to act like nothing's wrong. Let's begin. My wife has returned 1 year after leaving to find herself. How stupid am I for considering taking her back? Okay, I'm just gonna cut it right here. OP, that is very, very stupid of you.
My wife and I got married 6 years ago. I proposed to her after 4 months of dating and we were married 3 months later. You could call it quick, and I'm not saying it wasn't, but it felt right. So it was me, my wife, and my son, who is now 8. Things were great. We found out we were expecting our first child together and we were over the moon. Sadly, our baby was stillbirth and that started the fast decline of our relationship. It sent her into an extreme depression. It was like nothing could help it, and I was watching my beautiful wife die while still being perfectly physically healthy. By the next few months, instead of waking up to her next to me, I woke up to a note of her telling me she was going to clear her head. 1 week, no response. Before I knew it, she came back and retrieved half of her stuff. I was blocked on everything. It hurt, you know. I lost my baby and my wife left me in a matter of 2 months. I went into a pretty deep depression while also having to shun it away from my son. Things are hard. I was pretty much on autopilot and became severely underweight. It just started feeling good, getting back into society with closer connections to good friends. My wife never came back during that time period, and I was just wondering when I'd be hit with the divorce papers. And you want to know who showed up at my doorstep at 5 a.m. this weekend? My wife. There were so many things I wanted to say to her. I wanted to know if she was okay. I wanted to beg her to come back, but at the same time I wanted to tell her to leave and never come back. She came in and said that she spent the last 8 months 300 miles away and said she wanted to work on us. I smiled. We almost had sex. I took a good look in the mirror and I couldn't believe how stupid I was being. She came back expecting me to welcome her back with open arms, and that's exactly what I did. I empathized with her deeply and I saw how bad everything affected her, but 1 year. It felt unforgivable. I told her she needed to leave and now we're here and I'm on Reddit asking how do I proceed.
So let me get this straight. You pulled the trigger and married her just 7 months into knowing her. And I would also think this is at least your second marriage, I assume. And then, she ghosted you for an entire year and you still want to take back the bitch. OP, it's almost as if you're asking for this to happen to you. And did you seriously expect that she was just away, all alone, watching TV somewhere? No, she was choking on multiple other dicks while you're wasting your life simping for her. If you decide to reconcile, not too long from now, she's going to divorce your ass and take half of everything that you own. Where is your self-respect? And now for today's second story. A girl thinks she's a supervisor just because she hangs out with other supervisors. Posted by Reddit user ZTS Jeff.
Hello Reddit, I already apologize for my bad grammar. English is not my native language, but I needed to vent somewhere because I can't stand hearing that there are people like this everywhere, and that I shouldn't take it to heart. So about a week or so ago, I started a training month due to my recent hiring, and with that came all the problems. In the first day, this girl, let's call her Jane. She got very close to 2 supervisors and a quality reviewer, and the red flags started there. On the first day, she was already wanting to decide who would go where at her pleasure. Of course, none of us paid much attention to it. About 20 minutes later, she again tried to perform a position that is not hers. A colleague and I were commenting on something about the subject of training that I thought wasn't important enough to interrupt the coach's explanation. Just out of nowhere, Jane stood up and said, "Everyone stop." He looked at me and my colleague and said, "What you are doing is disrespectful, so please stop with the side conversations." I didn't react because I couldn't understand what was happening. I was so embarrassed, but my colleague, he's not the type to take it and leave it at that. So he responded with, "Disrespect is acting as if you had a higher position to expose 2 people who were really avoiding disrupting the flow of the class." And then our hell began. Since then, Jane has been trying to fuck us in many different ways, and her ego continues to rise because her supervising friends endorse and sometimes even encourage her superb attitudes. Yesterday afternoon was when shit really hit the fan. Same situation as last time, only this time I came with my weapons ready. She took the same attitude again, and that's when I lost my shit. I got up and said, "Zip your fucking mouth. We are tired of your bullshit. You're a temp worker like us and act as if you were better than us, but you are not, so close yourself off in your insignificance." In Portuguese sounded better, I swear. She turned red, lowered her head, and called her friends. I thought this would be the end, but I was wrong. The group was released for lunch and everything was going well until when we got back the coach was empty as if he had been threatened or something like that. And soon after he made everyone change places except, that's right, the management group. Since then Jane is trying to fuck my image in the company, inventing lies about myself and my colleagues. I know I'm not a saint, but holy hell, is she right? Am I really the problem? This is seriously ruining my sanity.
OP, is there any way that you can report her behavior to HR or your supervisor? I mean, spreading rumors about your coworkers is definitely a no-no in any work environment. Plus, what she's doing is creating a hostile working environment that could actually put productivity at risk. OP, I sincerely believe that you should look into this more so you can protect yourself. Good luck. And now for today's third story. I messaged the affair partner's dad on Facebook to expose her. Posted by Reddit user Pandarosa Island.
I found out about my husband's first affair partner in January 2023, 1 week after Mom died. It was a one-night stand. Then we had our second child in May, along with another 20-month-old at the time. There was so much happening I put things on the back burner to divorce and attempted to remediate for the time, since I needed help with the newborn and our other toddler and didn't have the mental capacity to take this further to end it yet. Fast forward to this fall, I found the real first affair partner in his phone. He had been hooking up with her since last summer, consistently. Pictures in his phone on Father's Day in her lingerie and Happy Daddy's Day. Multiple texts in his Snap that mistakenly saved that they clearly had made plans. Started last year, and increased again within the month of us with a new baby. But I didn't find out until September or October. He'd leave in the early morning to lift at the school he worked at, 5 minutes away from home, but really was driving 30 minutes to fuck his affair partner. I was getting suspicious and finding way too many clues that something was going on. Brought it up and he obviously deflected my questions and said it was just once last year. Wasn't buying it. Long story very short, I went to the affair partner's house to confront her. She didn't answer, but I texted him a picture of her front door anyway to freak him out. I came back home that night and told my husband that I was leaving with the kids. Cops ended up getting involved that night. He lost his job, doesn't live here anymore, and due to a no-contact order in place, I can't communicate with him. Pending a charge. I don't want to mess up his life, but yet here we are. I've now been a full-time working single mom, taking care of our 2-year-old and a baby, and maintaining the house as well since he's not allowed on the property. I've been planning a divorce for a while now, but even with that I am fuming. I can't talk to him about it because of the no-contact order in place. I've messaged her and she won't respond. So here I went, needing to vent in some way, and found her dad on Facebook. Messaged her dad that her daughter has serious issues, as she helped tear my husband and our family apart. And yes, ironic, I have issues thinking it's a good idea to message affair partner's dad. Fucked him in our home on our couch. Knowingly knew about our toddler and newborn. Gave him gifts. Knew about me and knew of our friends. Let it continue. Now here I am on Reddit telling the world what I did. He hasn't messaged back. I know it's psycho to message affair partner's parent. I don't know who the guy is, but also there are worse things, I guess. His family already knows, some of our friends know. But I still am so angry and feel it's so unfair I can't get back at her. It weirdly feels validating for her own father to know what a whore he raised, and I'm sure how ashamed she would be if he knew. Since on Facebook, it appears they are close for what the public can see, and how I'd feel if I did what she did and my family found out. Ideas for improved coping after finding out about affair partner. Yes, I'm leaving him. Yes, I've started therapy, but I want to get rid of this anger that's taken over me.
OP, I understand your rage, but you also have to understand that it doesn't just go away quickly. It takes time. Therapy helps, sure, but it's still up to you. So for now, I suggest that you just use this anger of yours to fuel your motivation to be a better provider for your kids, to be a better person in general. And now for today's final story. I slept with my best friend's girlfriend and they are getting married next week. Posted by Reddit user Double Ad.
I has been friends with my best friend, let's call him Jake, since we were kids. Jake was always a good friend to me. He always helped me when I was down. He is like a brother to me. I wouldn't have a single bad word to say about the guy. About 3 years ago, Jake got a new girlfriend, let's call her Sarah. They would go out on amazing dates. They seemed really happy together. I was so happy for him because he just got out of a bad relationship where he got cheated on, so it was nice to him smiling again. Sarah and I were just friends. There was nothing sexual between us at the time. The only time I would ever hang out or even speak to her was when Jake was there. I was always third wheeling. She was really pretty, but I never saw her in that way at the time. However, I started to notice some weird changes a couple of months ago. Every time I would be third wheeling, she would show more skin, for example like short skirts and tight tops that show her breast more. I thought it was really weird because normally she would dress in more baggy clothes when I was around. I think Jake found it weird too, he just didn't say anything or confront her about it. She would also look at me a lot, like fully staring, and she would have a smirk on her face too. I started noticing she would always brush her hand on my mind when she walked past, and she would always try play it off with an "OMG, I'm so sorry," or something along those lines. She was acting really weird. I knew what was going on, so I avoided hanging out with them for a good while because I knew if I see her, she will do something that will turn me on. When Jake would ask me to hang out with them, I would just lie and say I have a fever or I have to go see my parents. I just felt bad for Jake that his girlfriend that he loves so much is being sort of unfaithful to him. I didn't have the courage to tell him because I know it would break him. About a week ago, Jake went away to see his grandparents far away from the city we are living in. That day she came knocking on my door and she asked me if she could stay over as there is a lot of home renovations going in their home, which is true because Jake had told me roughly a week prior to this. She said she was supposed to go to her parents' house, but it's too far away. I asked her if Jake knew she was staying here and she said yes. I tried calling him to confirm, but he didn't answer, so I just let her in. I made ourselves dinner and we sat on the couch and watched a TV show together. All of a sudden, she wrapped her arms around my arm. I initially pulled away, but she did it again. This time I let her because if I'm being honest, I liked it. I knew it was wrong, but I couldn't stop. We started making out. We then took it to the bedroom and we slept together. In the morning, I felt so guilty. I couldn't stop thinking about how this would completely ruin Jake if he found out. To make things worse, they are getting married the next week. I made it clear to her that this wouldn't happen again, but she started seducing me again, like kissing my neck. I tried to push her off, but she carried on and whispered "let's go" again with a huge smirk on face. I was so turned on. We slept together again. Since that day we have slept together about 5 times. Now Jake is back. How do I tell him what I have done? Should I tell him before or after the wedding ceremony or after? Don't think I should attend. What should I do? I fucked up so badly.
OP, what I think you should do is improve your creative writing skills. Look man, I get that English is not your first language. It's not mine as well. But at least use more creativity with creating fake scenarios in your head. It should help your career and eventually, maybe someday, you'll release a novel of your own. Good luck to you. Viewer support is the best way for me to remain independent and continue bringing you these daily videos, which will always be here on my channels for you to watch absolutely free. So please consider subscribing to me on Rumble and on YouTube. Both will be linked in the description box down below. Thanks for listening everyone. If you even somewhat enjoyed today's story, make sure to give this video a thumbs up, and if you really like it, consider subscribing to PattSun to never miss a future upload. Stay strong.